valuable insight and lasting professional connections. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, on behalf of the organizing committee, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the second International Conference on Advanced Maritime Interconnection, ICAMI 2026. Please give a round of applause. Thank you. It is also an honor for me to serve as your Master of Ceremony. My name is Indri Wijaya, and as we all know, this remarkable event is organized by Barombong Maritime Polytechnic under the theme Advancing Maritime Resilience and Professional Capability Through Innovative Technology. Distinguished guests, as a mark of respect to the nation country, we kindly invite all of you to respect host country as a reflection of our appreciation for the nation that graciously welcomed us today. We shall now proceed with National Anthem of Indonesia Raya. May I kindly invite all participants joining virtually may also invited to stand where possible. Thank you, and please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on a day of knowledge sharing, innovation, and international collaboration, it is fitting that we first hear from the leader of this institution hosting this distinguished gathering. Through its commitment to maritime education, research, and professional development, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic continues to contribute to the advancement of the maritime sector, both nationally and globally. It is my great honor to invite Captain Sidratul Muntaha, MSI MR, as a Director of Barombong Maritime Polytechnic, Republic of Indonesia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all distinguished guests. The Honorable Mr. Suharto, Head of Human Resource Development Transportation Agency, Ministry of Transportation of Republik Indonesia. Distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Jin Ki Seo from Korea Institute of Maritime Fisheries Technologies, Republic of Korea. Ms. Lutfi Pratiwi Prabowo, PhD, Associate Research Center for Transportation Technologies, BRIN, Indonesia. Miss Dr. Juliet Wamugi from Jomo Kenya University of Agricultural and Technologies, Kenya. Mr. Captain Kokan Kamlirut, PhD from Liverpool, John Moores University, United Kingdom. Esteemed academicians, research, maritime professionals, industry leaders, government representatives, participants, ladies and gentlemen joining us both on-set and online from various parts of the world. On behalf of Maritime Polytechnic, it is my great honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to the second International Conference on Advanced Maritime Interconnection, ICAMI 2026. First and foremost, let us express our gratitude to Almighty God for His blessing and guidance, which allowed us to gather together in good health and high spirits for this important international academic forum. Ladies and gentlemen, the maritime industry is currently experiencing unprecedented transportation, driven by digitalization, automation, sustainable initiative, artificial intelligence, and global economic dynamic. This development presents both opportunities and challenges that require innovative thinking, collaboration, action, and continuous professional development. As maritime educator and practitioner, we must ensure that our institution remain responsive to emerging trends and capability of preparing future maritime professionals who are adaptive, competent, innovative, and global competitive. The theme of year's conference, Advancing Maritime Resilience and Professional Capability Through Innovative Technologies, reflect our shared commitment to strengthen maritime education, enhancing workplace capability, promoting technology innovation, and fostering international collaboration. So, ICAMI 2026, we aim to provide a platform where research, educators, policymakers, and industry stakeholders can exchange ideas, share experience, and discuss practical solutions to address the evolving needs of the maritime sectors. We firmly believe that meaningful collaboration between academia, government, and industry is essential for building resilient maritime ecosystem capable for supporting sustainable growth and global competition. Distinguished participants, today we are honored to host renowned expert practitioners from Indonesia, the Republic of Korea, the United Kingdom, and the Republic of Kenya. Their expertise and insight will adoptedly enrich our understanding of current maritime challenges and future opportunities. I encourage all participants to active engage in discussion, exchange perspective, and build professional network through this conference. Let us the opportunity not only to share knowledge but also to strengthen partnership that will contribute to the advanced maritime education, research, and industry development worldwide. Before concluding, I would to express my sincere appreciation to all keynote speakers, organizing committee members, sponsor, partner, and participants who dedicated and support have made this conference possible. Your presence and contributions are greatly greatly appreciated, and I also would like to take the auspicious moment to wish a happy Safer's Day and 226. Finally, I wish all participants a successful, productive conference. May ICAMI 2026 serve a catalyst for innovation, collaboration, and excellence in the maritime sector. Thank you for your participation and commitment. Welcome to ICAMI 2026. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi Om Namo Buddhaya. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Sidratul Muntaha, for your inspiring remarks and warm welcome. Your message has highlighted the importance of innovation, international collaboration, and professional development in shaping the future of the maritime sector. We sincerely appreciate your leadership and support for the successful organization of ICAMI 2026. Distinguished guests, as we continue the program, we now come to a significant part of today's conference. The advancement of maritime sector requires not only innovation and international collaboration, but also strong support and strategic direction from government institutions. Through policies, capacity building, and human resource development, the government plays a crucial role in shaping the future of maritime excellence. Please welcome Mr. Suharto as head of the Human Resource Development Transportation Agency, Ministry of Transportation, Republic of Indonesia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all distinguished guests. Honorable Director of Parambong Merchant Marine Polytechnic, Captain Sidratul Muntaha. Distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Jin Kinshore from the Korean Institute of Maritime and Fisheries Technology, Republic of Korea. Lutfi Pratiwibowo, PhD, Associate Researcher and the Research Center from Transportation Technology, BRIN, Indonesia. Dr. Juliet Wamugi from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, Kenya. And Captain Kohan Kamiliur, PhD from Liverpool John Morris University, United Kingdom. Respected academician, researchers, maritime professional, industry representative, government official, conference participant, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us express our gratitude to Almighty God for His blessing and guidance, which have allowed us together today in good health and high spirit. On behalf of the Ministry of Transportation of Republic of Indonesia, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to Parambong Merchant Marine Polytechnic for organizing the second international conference on advanced maritime interconnection, ICAMI 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, as the world's largest archipelagic nation, Indonesia recognizes the maritime sector as one Hello.
Hello, it's okay. We are
Okay,
heard
okay.
your
I want to
voice.
continue.
It is okay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, please. Ladies and gentlemen, as the world's largest facility nation, Indonesia recognized the maritime sector uh, as one of the key foundations of national development. Our maritime future depends not only on infrastructure and technology, but also on the quality, professionalism, and adaptability of our human resources. Today, the maritime sector is facing rapid transformation. Digitalization, automation, artificial intelligence, green shipping, smartphone, and decarbonization are reshaping the way maritime industry operates. This change requires maritime professionals who are technically competent, digitally literate, adaptive, innovative, and ready for lifelong learning. Therefore, strengthening maritime education and training remain a strategic priority for the Ministry of Transportation. This commitment is reflected in our continuous effort to strengthening vocational maritime education, improving training quality, and ensure that maritime human resources are prepared to meet both nation and global industry demands. The theme of ICAMI 2026, Advancing Maritime Resilience and Professional Capability Through Innovative Technology, is highly relevant to the challenges we are facing today. Maritime resilience is not only about responding to disruption, but also about building competent people, adaptive institutions, sustainable systems, and innovative solutions. In this regard, ICAMI serves as an important platform to exchange knowledge, share resources, strengthen collaboration, and connect academia, industry, and government. I could encourage participants to actively engage in meaningful discussion, exchange ideas, and explore future cooperation to support safer, smarter, greener, and more sustainable maritime operation. Before conclusion, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all keynote speakers, presenter, participants, committee members, and partners for their valuable contribution. I hope ICAMI 2026 will generate meaningful ideas and recommendations for the advance of maritime education, workforce development, technology, technology innovation, and maritime policy. By seeking the blessing of Almighty God, I hereby declare the second international conference on advanced maritime interconnection, ICAMI 2026 officially open. May this conference be successful and beneficial for all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suharto, for your insightful and encouraging remarks. We sincerely appreciate your valuable message and continued support for the advancement of maritime education, human resource development, and international cooperation. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with the support of the Ministry of Transportation of the Republic of Indonesia and Barombong Maritime Polytechnic, the second International Conference on Advanced Maritime Interconnection 2026 is hereby declared open. Please give a warm round of applause. And may this conference provide meaningful contributions to maritime knowledge, innovation, and global collaboration, and may the discussion throughout the day inspire new ideas, partnerships, and opportunities for the advancement of the maritime sector. Today, as the maritime industry keeps growing and needs skilled and ready workers, education becomes very important in building strong and professional seafarers. One of the institutions that plays a big role in this is Barombong Maritime Polytechnic, a maritime school known for its strong training, good facilities, and focus on real skills that match industry needs. To learn more about the institution, let us now watch the company profile of Barombong Maritime Polytechnic.
Indonesia is a nation with vast potential and abundant resources as a maritime country, where transportation serves as the backbone that connects the archipelago, weaving connectivity to drive the wheels of the economy. Maritime transportation is supported by several crucial aspects. One of the most vital components is the development of competent and professional transportation human resources to manage sustainable transportation in Indonesia. To cultivate prime, professional, and ethical transportation human resources capable of organizing reliable and zero-accident transportation, especially in maritime transport, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic is here to educate and train future transportation officers and resilient seafarers. With a vision to become a center of excellence for applied maritime education based on artificial intelligence in Indonesia, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic carries out the duty of organizing and developing vocational education programs, research, and community service in the field of shipping, in line with the three pillars of higher education or Tridharma Perguruan Tinggi. These efforts are delivered professionally with superior quality, creativity, and innovation to meet both national and international competency standards. In 1980, from the southern part of Makassar, South Sulawesi, driven by the spirit of the legendary Bugis Makassar seafarers, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic began its journey as the Barombong Riding School, or the Basic Maritime Education and Training Center. Since then, it has continuously grown and transformed to provide meaningful services, not only educating reliable future seafarers, but also future transportation officers who are ready to face dynamic global developments. To forge professional cadres in the shipping and maritime cargo business, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic offers forming training programs including the Diploma 3 program in Nautical Studies is accredited as excellent. It produces professional experts meeting national and international standards who master the science and technology of ship operation. The Diploma 3 program in Ship Machinery is accredited as excellent. It produces professional experts meeting national and international standards in the field of marine engineering, based on modern methodologies and information technology, ensuring they can operate and maintain ship machinery safely to reach their destinations. With the growing need for transport connectivity to connect Indonesia, the Sea Transportation Management Program is designed to meet the growing need for transport connectivity across Indonesia. It aims to produce professional skills in cargo shipping management and logistics via sea vessel, as well as safety-oriented cargo handling process to achieve zero accident and enhance competitiveness. Non-diploma seafarer training programs, which consist of Class 3 and Class 4 seafarer training programs, for both nautical and engineering departments. The educational approach focuses on nurturing intellectual, emotional, and spiritual intelligence, addressing both mental and moral fortitude. Furthermore, Barombang Maritime Polytechnic provides character building and physical fitness training, while actively participating in developing the talents and interests of the cadets. Balancing academic, physical, and spiritual aspect is essential to forming resilient individuals of high integrity who are ready to sail the oceans. For seafarers who already hold certificates of competency and wish to upgrade their qualifications, Barombang Maritime Polytechnics offers seafarer upgrading training programs, which consist of Class 2, Class 3, Class 4, and Class 5 seafarer training programs for both nautical and engineering departments. Barombang Maritime Polytechnic also organizes seafarer proficiency training programs. These are designed for seafarers to enhance their knowledge and skills in accordance with applicable requirements and regulations. Additionally, the institution provides maritime competency revalidation training. This program updates seafarer skills and expertise for certificates holders, ensuring their proficiency, competence, and recognition to perform specific functions on board merchant ships. The availability of comprehensive, high-quality supporting facilities and infrastructure is vital in supporting all activities of the trainees, who are prepared to become transportation officers capable of competing on an international scale. Supported by qualified educators and administrative staff, alongside adequate facilities, Barombang Maritime Polytechnic ensures the diverse needs of all trainees, including cadets, officer students, and other course participants are fully met. The campus features dormitory facilities for cadets, apartment for officer students, complete sport facilities, place of worship, a main clinic, a cafeteria, and even a diving center. Since the 1980s, Barombang Maritime Polytechnic has produced tens of thousands of reliable and highly competitive seafarers. They are widely recognized by government agencies, state-owned enterprise, domestic and international shipping companies, as well as national and international institutions. Come, realize your dreams and collaborate to build a progressive Indonesia in transportation and achieve effective, efficient, and internationally competitive maritime transport operation with Barombang Maritime Polytechnic Makassar.
Thank you for the informative presentation. We hope the profile video has provided valuable insight into the vision, mission, achievements, and international aspiration at Barombang Maritime Polytechnic. Esteemed delegates, as we gather here today from diverse backgrounds and nations, let us begin this conference with gratitude and seek blessings for the success of today's event. We shall now proceed with the invocation. May I respectfully invite our prayer leader to lead us in prayer, Mr. Umar Muhtar, MPD.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished all participants. Allow me to lead the prayer in Islamic faith and traditions. We kindly invite participants of other religions and beliefs to pray according to their respective faiths and convictions. A'udzu billah, bismillah, alhamdulillah. Summa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. O Allah, Lord of the world, we praise you and thank you for granting us the opportunity to gather at the second International Conference on Advanced Maritime Interconnection, ICAMI 2026, in good health, peace, and spirit of collaboration. O Allah, bless this international conference and all who participate in it. Guide our discussions, our research, and our exchange of ideas so that they may contribute to the advancement of maritime knowledge, innovation, and cooperation among nations. Grant us wisdom to develop technologies that strengthen maritime resilience, improve professional capabilities, and promote safer, more sustainable, and more connected maritime industries for future generations. Oh Allah, make the knowledge shared in this conference beneficial for humanity, inspire meaningful collaborations, and turn our efforts into contributions that bring prosperity, safety, and progress to the global maritime community. Oh Allah, grant success to this conference, bless its outcomes, and guide us all toward excellence, integrity, and service for the betterment of our world. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batila warzuqna ijtinabah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to our prayer leader to a very meaningful invocation. May today's conference proceed smoothly and bring valuable knowledge, productive discussions, and fruitful collaboration among all participants. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the main academia segment of today's conference. In the upcoming session, we will have the privilege of hearing valuable insight from distinguished keynote and invited speakers, representing academia and industry from the Republic of Korea, Kenya, the United Kingdom, and Indonesia. The expertise, experience, and perspective will enrich our understanding of current challenges and emerging opportunities within the maritime sector. To facilitate the keynote and invited speech session, the interactive panel discussion, and the question and answer session, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator. Please welcome Mr. Joe Ronald.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, distinguished guests, respected speakers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to respectfully acknowledge Mr. Suharto, Head of Human Resources Development on Transportation Agency, and Captain Sidrotul Muntaha as the Director of Barambong Maritime Polytechnic. Good morning, sir. This event is not only an academic forum, but also a meaningful moment for our institution as we celebrate the 46th anniversary of Barambong Maritime Polytechnic. It is also a very special that this conference is held on 25 June, which coincides with the Day of the Seafarer. Therefore, today's gathering carries a deeper meaning. We are not only discussing maritime knowledge and innovation, but also honoring the dedication, professionalism, and contribution of seafarers to global shipping and international trade. Today, we gather under the theme, Advancing Maritime Resilience and Professional Capability through Innovative Technology. This theme is very relevant to today's maritime world. The maritime sector is changing rapidly through digitalization, automation, intelligent systems, and increasing operational complexity. But no matter how advanced the technology becomes, maritime operation will always depend on people, the seafarers, educators, operators, researchers, and industry professionals who make decisions every single day. Today we are truly honored to be joined by distinguished speakers from South Korea, Indonesia, Kenya, and the United Kingdom. First of all, allow me to introduce you all of the highly respected speakers for today. The first speaker is on the Zoom meeting now is Professor Jinki Soor. Good morning, Professor.
Morning. I hope the speaker is okay.
Okay, 안녕하십니까, 교수님. 오랜만입니다.
오랜만입니다.
How are you?
반갑습니다.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Professor. Professor Jin Kisor from the Korea Institute of Maritime and Fisheries Technology, Republic of Korea, and currently Director of the APEC SEN, Seafarer Excellent Network Secretariat. Professor Jin has extensive experience in maritime education, on-board training systems, digital learning platforms, maritime English, communication at sea, and competency development for future seafarers. Allow me to introduce to you the next speaker is Lutfi Pratiwibowo, PhD. Selamat pagi, Ibu. Good morning. Hello, Ibu.
Halo, selamat pagi, Dr. Jo. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Prof. Jin. It's nice to meet you.
Good morning, Ibu. Madam Lutfi Pratiwibowo, PhD, from the National Research and Innovation Agency, or Badan Riset Indonesia, has strong expertise in maritime safety, human factors, accident analysis, human error assessment, and transportation safety. Her topic is highly relevant because maritime resilience cannot be separated from our ability to understand why accidents happen, how human factors on human error contributes to risk, and how safety knowledge can be translated into better training, better systems, and professional behavior. For third speaker is Dr. Juliet Wangwi Wamagif. Dr. Juliet, are you on the room right now? Okay, she will join shortly due to time difference and technical problem. Allow me to introduce to you all, Dr. Juliet is currently a lecturer at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, or JKUAT Kenya, and is also affiliated with Maritime Research Center in Nairobi, Kenya. She brings a very important perspective for today's discussion, especially on maritime education, seafarer development, also gender equality. She is currently in Denmark right now, so he will join shortly. And the next speaker is Captain Gokhan Chamliot. Captain Gokhan, are you in the room right now? Good morning, Captain. Okay. Captain Gokhan also will join shortly due to time difference. So, before we begin, allow me to briefly explain the session flow. So each speaker will deliver a presentation for approximately 15 minutes, and you can also extend it whenever I will notice you when the time is up. Each speaker will, the question and answer session will be conducted after all presentations completed. And to all participants, if you have any questions during the presentations, please kindly note them first, and later during Q&A session, participants may raise their hand through the Zoom function or submit questions through the committee in the chat. Without further ado, let us begin our keynote session for today. So, Professor Jin Kisor, you are the first keynote speaker. Are you ready right now, Professor?
Yes, anytime. Yeah, it would be a pleasure.
Okay, thank you, Professor. So our first keynote speaker is Professor Jin Kisor. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome Professor Jin Kisor from South Korea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, I think this is incredible. Thank you so much. And it's an honor. Well, do you think it's better for me to share my screen, or would it be better to share it from your side? I think both of them would work.
Professor, you can try first. You can
Okay.
share screen directly from your devices.
Great, that would be great. Let me share it from my screen first.
Thank you, Professor.
Well, today what I will be explaining, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I think this is great and incredible. And I would like to explain a bit about some of the projects and hopefully that I can deliver the message that I would like to speak. The thing is, first is Maritime English Communication, which I will be speaking. I think I will mainly focus on three things. The first is related to maritime communication, the first one. And the second one is why maritime English is important and why is it so special. And the last one would be how the education and training and competency should be in the future. The latter part, the third one, I will spend about 5 minutes, but the front part is about 10 minutes. I think I will focus more on the latter 5 minutes, how the maritime education and training should be. So first, allow me to begin with the backgrounds. And if there's any technical issues or if you need to stop by or any of the questions, then you may leave a chat box, leave a message in the chat box. Okay. Main factors in maritime accident is communication. I think we all know that multicultural and multinational onboard environment can cause communication challenges, which are contributing factors to maritime accident. I think this is a very plain, statement. We all know that the communication is some of the issue. Well, allegedly, IMO, one of the IMO documents says, of course, it depending on the circumstances, but it says the major cause of maritime accident is communication error. And let me correct that. 80% is more of a human factor, 80%. Okay. And then about half of them, 50% of them, some researchers or the research outcome says is related to the communication. That is because 86% of the vessels, SOLAS vessels worldwide, are operated by multinational and multicultural crew. So again, 80% is not a communication directly, but it's a human factor. And among those 80%, 50% of them are related to communication. So we know that accidents may happen caused by those communication. Then international organizations and domestic institutions, they all are working greatly to provide the recommendations. For example, IMO, ILI, CSITU, they all say that the communication is important, and they also iterate what they should do to prevent the accident. One of the documents I would like to say is SMCP, that if you compare any other document in the maritime sector, that you wouldn't find a better publications than SMCP. I'm not here to talk that SMCP is good or not, but what I'm saying is SMCP, they get all economy countries that are gathered together, they approved it. So there are no better documents to have a better, the proof or the authenticity of this document. But anyway, what I'm saying is SMCP is quite important. Two things is important. First is standardization. They standardize the phrases. And second one is they also standardize the communication procedures. So again, accident happened because of communication. International organizations, they thought of a few methods. One of the most distinguished one is the SMCP. And do let me know if I go over the time, or please do let me know if I go over the time, please, because I may, speak too much. And so what I did was, yes, based on those SMCP, we developed some of the aspect. How can we better evaluate those students in recent days? So we developed a specific platform and developed a specific method, and we applied in the education field. Mainly, the first one was applied in 2019. The second one is 2023. And the latter stage was in 2025. So it's a major 3 years of updates. Okay, so that was the overview of the projects. And let me speak a little bit more of a background of how we adapted this platform or the question criteria. There are many definitions of communications, Well, some people say communication is just a way of delivering information one people to another people. So there are many communication models or methods. For example, people say what I'm delivering the message is not about what I speak, but it's about how I speak it, the tones of my voice, the way I make gestures, the way of my facial expression. That is much more relevant to the message that I deliver. Those are common communication theories. There are Moravian theories, and there are other theories as well. However, these are not applied directly to the maritime industry. As you know, when the vessel arrives in port, this is from one of our distinguished speakers, that communication network is so dense and different that it cannot, those communication method or theory cannot be applied in the maritime field. This is communication network, for example, is when the vessel arrives in port, the chief officer has to speak so many people in the same time, and it has to be done through walkie-talkie. Then previously what I mentioned, communication theory and method cannot be applied in the maritime field. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is the other method or competency shouldn't directly 100% applied in the maritime field. They should be properly adapted according to the maritime context. This picture is from one of the APEC report, and I would like to focus on the number 3 item. Number 3 is the multi-group composition that APEC also analyzed the airline industry, the train industry, the road industry, but they found that maritime industry is so distinctive. There are several reasons, and again, one of them is the communication and multinational crew settings. Because of that, IMO say about the communication, as in the materials. Ayala also mentioned heavily about communication. If you find communication in maritime sector, there are few things you might want to take into account. The first one, of course, is SMCP. Second one, maybe IMO model course for English. And the third one, maybe Ayala guideline G1132. And it says, but yes, I will go through them for the time being. So Ayala basically said communication is important, and they provide some of the phrases and the principles of how they speak it. ITU speak more about the procedural side. They don't speak how to, for example, Mayday. Then when you hear those Mayday, there are certain procedures that you should take in terms of communication. So ITU speak more about the procedure aspect. ICS, through a number of publications, also mention the communications, the importance of communication. And ILO as well, surprisingly, they say the education and training are so important, as well as the, well, it has a little complications, but it's slightly out of our scope right now, so I will skip it. But ILO also strongly emphasized the communication. So then I'll skip the other part, directly going into, right now there are Marlene tests, the platforms to evaluate seafarers' competencies. I think this is the most common one. They are mostly composed of the, well, the knowledge-based. They are not directly focused on SMCP, but they are more focused on vocabulary, perhaps, or the knowledge side. They don't specifically ask how to form the questions, how to form sentences. There are other platforms, maritime platform, English learning platforms, where this is for other Middle East country. They provide these platforms as well. And the last one is FERSEC. They have all common. They are quite similar. If you look at inside, if you take the test, they are very similar. But there is a discrepancies. IMO model course or SMCP or the competency in a domestic or foreign affair, they say people have to speak, people have to be able to form the sentences, they have to utilize languages, whether that's speak or writings. However, all those previous platforms in the market, they are assessing the knowledge. They just drop and drag, they just click it, that's all. So there is a discrepancy between international standards and the actual competencies test or the learnings as well. So I will skip it through the composition of SMCP. If I directly say, we just had to develop a simple test method that we want the students to actually write some of the sentences that would happen in an actual maritime settings. For example, I require pilot, the people will learn in their own language. They will see it in their own languages and they have to type in the English sentences. And again, SMCP, well, it's just as very essential phrases, and based on those essential phrases, we let students or the people to write the essential sentences in English. And here's the important part of how we evaluated. Two ways of evaluation. The first is a structure evaluation, and second one is a semantic evaluation. When the students type in those messages or the sentences, then we could compare. First one is how much is it same as SMCP in a structure perspective. Let's say I say, are there dangers to navigation, as in the text box? And student typing, is there a danger to navigation? Then are and is, there are differences. Then they calculate structure perspective, outside perspective. Oh, then are and is different. They calculate 87.1. There are a number of ways to calculate the similarity of a structure perspective, but if I require, I will explain it. But we just used a PHP text similarity in the very end. Second one is semantic perspective, and this is the whole purpose that I speak perhaps for today. We know that currently there are ChatGPTs, Geminis, and all those LLMs. Those things are composed of two sections. The first is the encoder, and the second one is decoder. Encoder part is the brain, and decoder part is more body. And decoder part contains the uncertainties. So when I type in specific questions, they always answer in a different perspective. However, that's not what happened in an encoder perspective. Encoder perspective is a brain. They always provide the same calculations or the similarity. There are many models for the encoder, but what we used is focused on the sentence transformer. So to put it simply, we calculated the first method is based on structure score, and the second one is just, let's say, simply LLM or ChatGPT or sentence transformers. Those two things, they calculate the score of those students. The next one is providing the feedbacks. As I mentioned, all the platforms in the market, they don't provide a very good feedback, but they provide like the total score and what you got right or what you got it wrong, but they don't provide individual questions. But that's not good in a learning perspective. If I'm a learner, I need to know where I have gotten wrong, what's the improvement, and what sector should I study more. And if I see the screen, there would be an importance, there would be a difficulty, and based on those, how much should they learn more to get an officer on board the vessel, and etc. So, for example, this one was the structure similarity, and if I type in maritime and maritime, it's a 87.5 score. The reason is this: maritime and maritime, the difference is n. So based on like 100%, they have one different in characters, so they calculate as 87.5%. If I put this one into a sentence transformer encoder, they wouldn't calculate it as 87.5. They would calculate perhaps around 40%, because there is a word called maritime, but there isn't a word of maritime, and sentence transform doesn't understand it. So they may calculate 40%, but this is one of those things. Please, I would like to say the moderator, the captain, if I go over, if I spend too much time on it, just let me know in the chat box, then I will stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Professor, it's okay, Professor, no problem. You can continue.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then let's say there are two words, close the watertight door and report, and there's a report after closing the watertight door. These two words are all within the SMCP structure. SMCP has many structure. In the front part, they say maybe close the watertight door and report. And the latter part, they may say report after closing the watertight door. The thing is, well, they have some, common structures as well. But what I want to say is close the watertight door and report after closing the watertight door. If I analyze it in a structure perspective, it says 57%. So when the student type in this, they will get a 57 point of score. But people or the student may ask, professor or the teacher or the lecturers, I got it wrong because, for example, these two have quite a same meaning. Why would I have to get a 57%? This is absurd. I don't agree with the score. Then in a meaning perspective, a sentence transformer, they would calculate as 87% because a lot of the meaning inside are similar. Maybe the other example would be there is a dangerous target on the radar and no danger detected on the radar. For example, this one, again, in a structure perspective, it's around 50%. But if we analyze it in a meaning perspective, they share quite the same meaning. So it's 86%. They are very opposite side of the story. For example, alter to port and alter to starboard, they are quite structurally similar. However, the meaning are 100% very different. So if I analyze it in these two sentences, then they have a 70% similarity in a structure perspective. However, in a meaning perspective, they may share the same concept of alter to, but the port and starboard, it's very different, and they have to calculate as a 44%. So my point here is SMCP is a standardized messages, and there is a need that we need to learn those standardized messages. For those standardized messages, it's very nice to analyze in a structure perspective. However, in a structure perspective, again on the screen, the meanings are quite different. So the score has to be calculated in a different way as well. Structure perspective has a limitation. That's what I want to say. My freeway is 12 meters and my air draft is 12 meters. It's the same thing. They may have the same structure, but the meanings are quite different. This is coming from the different concept of languages. For example, keep clear of the air. Well, this is a little separate story, but I will say it anyway. Let's say there's a keep clear of the area, all clearance operation, radio loud and clear sky, clear. Everything is about clear. However, if we translate that into Korean and Chinese, no single words are the same. No single words are the same. What I'm trying to say is, in English, they are all the clear format. However, in Korean and Chinese, no single one is the same. Because in one, maybe Indonesian, the clear has a specific scope of a meaning. In different languages, maybe clear has a very different scope of meaning, and they use it in different context and form. So the language cannot be corresponded one-to-one. That's why, again, the transformer has to be adapted in the maritime learning. And that's why those two ways of analyzing is very important. The whole thing that I mentioned from the beginning till end is this. Maritime education and training, especially in the maritime English perspective, the previous evaluation assessment, well, the time has changed. And we have to also adapt the new technologies, whether that's structure, perspective, auto assessment, or the meaning side transformer assessment. The future education and training and the competency has to be little changed according to the new technology. And one of the method could be, again, adapting the sentence transformer into the maritime evaluation and learning field. What's good about this is that students would get immediate feedbacks, and it, to be honest, doesn't cost much money, and we believe it's much more effective. We applied in the education field, we compare we analyze it, it's much more effective than just writing it, doing with the handwriting, correct or not, getting it wrong or right. Compared to those, new method, I believe, is more effective. And I wouldn't go to the details of analyze or the research, but the outcome is more effective. So if you would like to know the sentence transformer, there would be thousands of courses about KQV, how the ChatGPT LLM models function, how do they think, how would they function and predict the next words, and etc. So for a sentence transformer, these stages, they go through these stages. But what was challenging for me during the what was challenging for me is this: sentence transformer also requires a huge model. There are huge models or there are very small models. The problem is when the students submit the answer, we have to give the feedback quickly. However, those previous ones are very slow and could not directly give out the feedbacks. So that was one of the challenges that I have when forming those evaluation platforms. And I believe if you're using the sentence transformer and other method, I believe you would experience the same challenges too. Basically, the structure perspective, we used these schematics, and the meaning perspective, I used this structure. So basically, the student would go through some of the questions. My apology, I think perhaps the connections are slow, and they go through some questions. Maybe they would be speaking questions. Second one is a sentence writing. The third one would be the glossary part in the SMCP from part. They have 150 words, and last one is quiz, kind of a. I'm not saying that this is a good method, but what I'm saying is in the future education, maybe we should be doing a better job in adapting the new technology. So once the students submit their answer SQL, we will check what students have made, what kind of answer they have made, how much time they spend on it, what was the specific, what was the score, and analyze in a very detailed perspective. When did they collect something, things like that. Let me see how much time. Well, I have went over the line. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Then I will just say a few conclusions, and if I hope to say maybe 10 or 15 more minutes. However, I will say the very essential points and then I'll conclude it. Thank you very much for the opportunity. This one is more of a structure perspective one. So, and the last one is the evaluation. We applied in the students, not only one time, 2019, 2023, and 2025, we adapted sentence transformer. We confirmed that it's very relevant to the education field. One last one is if we combine those two methods together, 52% to 48%, combine those two together would be highly relevant for the student. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And it's an honor and a pleasure and hope for the great collaboration. Thank you, Captain, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Professor Jin Kisor, for the very insightful presentation regarding communications in maritime English. And I believe it will be fruitful for all of us, especially today, many lectures from, especially specialists in maritime English also attending this event, Professor.
Thank you.
So we
Thank
can
you.
see that digitalization is changing not only maritime technology, but also how we educate and prepare maritime professionals. Before we continue to the second keynote, allow me to introduce to you Dr. Juliet Wamugi. Hello, Dr. Juliet. Okay, we will continue to the second keynote. The second keynote speaker, ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome Madam Lutfi Pratiwibowo, PhD.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joe, and what a wonderful presentations, Professor Jin, about the maritime communications. It is very related with what we are currently doing right now here in BRIN. So, Dr. Joe, could I share my presentation right now?
Sure, doctor, you can try first on your device.
All right.
If there is some technical issue happen, we will do it from here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so you can see my screen right now, right? All right. So good morning.
Yes, we can see.
Great. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for Poltekpel Barombong for inviting me to be a keynote speaker today. It is an honor for me to be here with you and then to share what we are currently doing here in BRIN relating about human factors and accident analysis for strengthening maritime resilience in Indonesia. So my name is Lutfi Pratiwibowo. I'm from Transportation Safety and Security Research Group in Research Center for Transportation and Technology, a National Research and Innovation Agency. So yeah, before going to the presentations and the detail about the human factors, I would like to share that I am focuses in the transportation safety, human factors, maritime accident analysis, risk assessment, and intelligent mobility system. And then I also have conducted research in maritime accident causation, human reliability assessment, fatigue and workload, and safety modeling to support safer and more resilient transport systems in Indonesia. So first of all, I would like to introduce my research group here because I think it is a very good opportunity for us to also know each other. And then maybe later after this opportunity, we can have collaborations related to the maritime research. So here in our research group, we have 6 focuses, which I highlighted in the blue is the one about the maritime research. So we have safety risk assessment and investigations. Here we have human-centered formal safety assessment for narrow channel operations. And then we have maritime accident investigations. And then we have hydrogen transport safety. We also have research in monitoring, sensing, and safety technology, emergency preparedness and safety governance, human factors and human performance, simulation, and scenario-based evaluations. And also we have research in AI, big data, and predictive safety analytics. So we are very welcome for all of you. If we would like to conduct collaborations, we will be happy to support it. And we have research partner too here. We partner up with the university, industry, and also ministry here, government in Indonesia, and also abroad too. So we try to make some kind of consortiums of the maritime, and also especially for the transportation safety research to make it more impactful both in Indonesia and also globally. And also, I would also mention some of research grant that I got from the in the maritime sectors. So we got grant from Japan about the hydrogen safety, transport, and social acceptance, and we got also from the LPDP about the EV transport safety on ships and fire and emergency response. We have from DICTI, it is about the seafarer fatigue detection for maritime accidents, risk mitigations, and also we got from Japan about the hydrogen transport. So these are the grants that we are currently doing in our research group about the maritime. So let's take a look about the human factors and the maritime resilience. So I would like to mention that maritime resilience is not only about the stronger ships, but it is about the stronger systems, people, and also the decisions. Because accidents analysis become valuable when it helps organization learns before the next accident happens. So first of all, this is the Indonesian maritime system. We have here the CITOL program, which already launched in 2020. And then here, this is a flagship maritime logistic initiative designed to connect the archipelago via regular scheduled shipping routes. And also its primary goals are to reduce logistic costs, eliminate the price disparities between Western and Eastern Indonesia, and also to boost economic equity in the frontier, outermost, remote, and border areas. So as you know that Indonesia consists of thousands of islands. So maritime is the backbone of Indonesia's transportation system. So based on the data from the Indonesian statistics, from January to 2024 to January 2025, we see here that ship passengers increasing about 4.48%. It is only for 1 year period. And then for the sea cargo, we see here that there is increasing number from the 2024 to the January 2025, although it mentions that it is a little bit decreasing for about 0.2%. What I would like to highlight here that we can see that the number of the people using sea transportations for transferring people and for transferring the cargo is increasing maybe by the years. So we can see that this maritime transportation, it is a very important aspects for Indonesians' economy in general. However, we cannot neglect that the number of the maritime accidents is also occurred here in Indonesia. This is the data from the Indonesian National Transport and Safety Committee, we called here KNKT. Here is the number of cases that they are surveying and also investigating, because the limited number of the source that the KNKT have, the number of the cases that they can investigate is very limited. However, the exact number of the maritime accidents occurred here in Indonesia is more than what this graph show you. So operational exposure needs higher movement volumes, increase the need for reliable procedures, crew preparedness, and port ship coordination. And then, right. So just like what Professor Jean already showed us and mentions that human factors are involved in approximately 80% of the maritime accidents and making them critical entry point for strengthening maritime safety and resilience. And I also agree with Professor Jean that about 50% of these human factors are related to the communications, because it is also the results of what we are doing previously in the accidents analysis while we are making the classifications, whether it is the experience or whether it is the communications or whether it's the educations that are lack of lack of the learning program for the seafarers. But we have to solve this kind of human factors because it is one of the problems and it is very critical entry point. And the source that I got here is from the EMSA, European Maritime Safety Agency, from the Europe. They have reported for 2025. Here, human factors are central to maritime safety. So based on the IMO perspective, that human factors or human element is a key element of safety of life on board ships and contributes to most casualties in the shipping sectors. So by strengthening the human factors means improving task design, workload, communication, supervisions, procedures, and also organizational learning. So by this perspective, we have to change our perspective from who failed, like who create this disaster, to why. From who we have to change our thinking to why did the system allow this performance, because human cannot do something wrong meanwhile the other procedures are right. So we have to find the why answers from these problems. We can see here in the maritime accidents, human factors is like the tip of the iceberg. So first, if there's an event occurred, we tend to blame like who did it and what happened, but not why this has happened. So we have to eliminate this kind of thinking, like the easy to see and then easy to blame the people to be to get blame of what just happened. We have to look up deeper about how about the human performance while doing the work, and how the work has done, and how about the culture that currently doing in the environment of the seafarers, for example. So first of all, in the human performance, we have to look up about their workload. Are there are they already have a lot of workload, or it is like a normal workload, or below below the normal workload that usually they performs, or are they in the fatigue situations, or are their situation awareness is good or not? Are they stressed, or how about the interactions among the another shells element? Because this human performance depict the interactions between system elements like people, procedures, equipment, and also human performance envelop the factors affecting their performance. And also, we have to look up about the system demands, about the workarounds and internal and external targets, the way the job is really done, as opposed how to the designers may have intended it in the safety two paradigm, for examples. Because a good design is designed based on what human needs, not what the designer needs. And then about the culture, we have to look up about the norms, values, perceptions, organizational culture, because a fusion of professional, organizational, and national culture affecting human performance and safety. Therefore, I think it is also depict in the communications between seafarers among the international cruise that currently usually occurred in the ship's navigation, for example. So we have to start thinking from it's just human error to the system thinking. So we have to take a look about the accidents analysis, because the these accidents occurred just like a layer of cheese. So we have to take a look layer by layer about the causing of these occurrences, like what is the linear cause, like what directly happened, and then we have to take a look to the root cause, what underlying of this condition existed, and then we will find the human factors, how did work as done differ from work as imagined. And then we will go to the system safety after these human factors layers, like which controls fail, were missing, or become unsafe. And also we have to learn their resilience, like how can the system adapt safely next time. So we are not only blaming the human factors, but we are thinking about how we can recover and how we can learn from these accidents, so we can adapt, and then we can do the operation safely in the future. So accidents analysis should evolve from blaming to people or blaming to one person to become a learning system that everybody can learn to do it safely for avoiding the same mistakes in the future. So it's kind of a typical accidents pathway is systemic, because maritime accidents often form weak signals and compounding pressures. So for example, people have operational pressure, like the schedule is very tight and also the weather is not good. And also the demand is very high. It is kind of operational pressure for the seafarers, and then they tend to do the local adaptations. They try to make a shortcuts to do something, and also doing the informal practice. So because of this pressure, they tend to make a shortcut to make their work like as fast as possible to be finished. And then while doing that, it comes to the latent conditions that already occurred in the system. Like maybe they have not good in maintenance the machinery or the equipments that they use in the ships, and also maybe they got lack of training of doing something, and the design of the layout, and also the equipment that they have is not too good, and they do the oversight as well. It's kind of the latent conditions. And when something trigger the event, all of this operational pressure, local adaptation, and then the latent conditions will have a bad response, like degraded response, following by the bad communications, and then evacuation problem, and the delay of the rescue. It will end up in the losses. For example, in the accidents, maybe there will be injury, fatality, asset damage, disruptions, and also bad reputations for the seafarers who works in the ships. So we have to do the intervention points in every layers to make a stronger control, better training realism, and also safety data sharing and faster learning loops to avoid this kind of systemic problems to be occurred. So the intervention points is very important for each layers of this typical accident pathway. And then the key message that I would like to give: Indonesia's maritime safety challenge is not only about preventing individual accidents, but also strengthening the entire maritime system by the people, ships, ports, procedures, technology, and also the emergency response. And then here we also have to take a look about the current and also maybe the future maritime safety challenges that we will face now or maybe in the future. And that I already mentioned 4 here. Maybe there are a lot of another safety challenges that will be happen, but it is like the closest safety challenges that we will face here in Indonesia. The first one is the EV transport on ships. This related to the battle thermal events, cargo declarations, fire suppression uncertainty. Why this is important? Because now here in Indonesia, we have faced the increasing number of the EV transportations like car, motorcycles, and also bicycles who use battery as their prime mover machineries. And then maybe some of you knows that IMO still have no um, like still have no policies to overcome these problems to transport these EV inter islands. So therefore, because IMO doesn't have this policy yet, Indonesian government also cannot make the guidelines or also policy about transporting this EV. However, we have to do this because Indonesia is inter islands and consists of a lot of it consists a lot of islands. So we rely on the ships more than maybe another countries. So it is the current maritime safety challenge that we are facing right now. And the second one is the alternative fuels that we know IMO already have target and goals to make maritime is in the zero carbon in 2050, if I'm not mistaken, by changing the fuels of the ships to be hydrogen or ammonia, and also by using the wind or maybe solar panel to be the alternative fuels. And we have to know about these challenges, about the hazard, how we can overcome these alternative fuels as maritime stakeholders. And also the third one is the digital navigations. So we are just like Professor Jin also said that we are facing a lot of AI tools and also human machine interactions on the navigational deck, and then it all may be already digitalized, and somehow we can see that uh, technology can help us to do works, but somehow a lot of technology can make us stress because maybe we cannot we still cannot adapt about this digitalization era. So we have to create this kind of solving of this problem as well. And also about the remote monitoring, because as you know that nowadays also we have like mass maritime autonomous ship system uh, to do to do the work because of the lack of number of the seafarers right now. So people think to do the mass, but to do this, we have to also thinking about the data quality and also about the cyber security of this remote monitoring and cyber human interaction, and also responsibility boundaries between machine and also human. So these emerging technologies create new human system risks. So we think that we have to create a new technology to eliminate human factors, but actually in the reality, it's not eliminate the human factors, but we create new human system risks. So this is kind of the current maritime safety challenges that we are facing right now. And I would like to share the several of our works here in BRIN about the maritime safety challenges. So the first one is we have conducted a research to find about the analyzing of the maritime collisions here in Indonesia and in the several areas here by using the maritime accident analysis and reduction technique. Here we would like to develop the hard method and also for the quantifications by using the topsies. Here we can see that we identify the problems by separating it to the, or it is for the human, and for the media, it is for the environment, and for the machine, for the equipment and the management system of the ships itself. And the key findings that we got is most collisions occurred during seemingly simple and routine tasks. So it is related to the operational pressures and also for the local adaptations that they do and lead to the accidents because they do the shortcuts. And also for the management factors where most frequently happen, especially in adequate checking, lookout, and also progress tracking. And manufacturers followed with misperceptions of collision risk and ambiguous performance as major issues. So the resilience implication that I would like to share is collision preventions need stronger bridge team discipline, active lookout, clear ship-to-ship communications, just like Prof. Jin said, supervision, checking routines, and management-led safety barriers. And then the second one
Madam
is,
Lutfi,
yep,
Madam Lutfi, you
all right.
have 2 minutes left.
All right. Great, because we just we will finish it immediately after this one. So, and then yeah, the second one is we are conducting the risk assessment of the transporting this EV by the ships here in Indonesia. We create the hazard and risk analysis, and also we model it by using the SCPA and the Bayesian networks. And then first we have to create this kind of communication chain, whether it is from the captain until to the loading officer, port authority, and to the the passengers, to look it up about how these communications, how these commands occurred during system. So this key findings is the most probable hazard by transporting this EV is the inability to extinguish the EV fire, because we have still not adapt how to and how and we still have not training about how to extinguish this BEV fire. And also improper firefighting process and wrong firefighting devices are critical. Lack of skill and knowledge is the most influential causal factors. Lack of procedures and rules is highly sensitive for fire and asset damage. And the resilient implication is the priority action, specialized crew training, BEV fire drills, very specific safety guidelines, data sharing, advanced fire detections, and appropriate suppression system. And then the third one is we are evaluating the safety of port-to-ship liquefied hydrogen bunkering through fault tree analysis and fuzzy Bayesian network. Here we try to create how if we transport the hydrogen by ships to another regions. And here we finding that the main intermediate events is hydrogen leakage, human error, and also overpressure. And the human failures is dominated this challenge. For example, the task execution, the human machine interface problems, inadequate skills, and also fatigue. And also pressure failures are less influential because hose valve and manifold failures can increase stop event probability. And the hydrogen safety requires human-centered procedure, simulation, training, automation, understanding, human-machine interface design, and competency development before operational deployment. So, maritime resilience is built before accidents happen through people preparedness, learning, and system-wide safety control. how to strengthen the maritime resilience. So first, we have to move from reactive safety to adaptive safety capability. By doing the anticipation, we have to anticipate by identifying emerging risks before exposure grows. And then the second one, we have to monitor to detect weak signals and also the operational drills, and to respond coordinated timely emergency actions, and also to recover, restore service while controlling secondary risks, and to learn by convert findings into safer designs. Because a resilient system learns across all these 5 capabilities, not only after accidents, but during normal operations, we have to adapt this resilience to our daily operations. All right, so thank you very much all for the time and opportunity for us to share our work here in BRIN regarding the maritime safety. Let us strengthen maritime resilience by learning from accidents, improving human factors, and also building safer maritime system for Indonesia. Thank you very much, Dr. Joe.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lutfi, for the valuable presentation. Yeah, whenever we are talking about human, there is a lot of factors, latent factors, underlying, and everything behind all of the humans itself.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move to the third keynote speaker, allow me to greet Captain Gokan. Are you in the room right now? Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Captain Joe. Yes, I'm in the room.
Good morning, Captain Gokan. It's good to see you, Captain. You are having the keynote speech. First, we are going to Dr. Juliet. Dr. Juliet, good morning, Dr. Juliet.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm legible enough.
Good morning, Dr. Juliet. It's good to see you, Doctor. So, now we move to another important human dimension in maritime professional capability, which will be delivered by Dr. Juliet through gender equality and inclusive participation in maritime education and seafaring careers. So, ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome Dr. Juliet Wangwi Wamagi.
Wow, thank you so much for the warm welcome, Captain Dr. Joe. My name is Dr. Juliet Wangoi, and greetings all the way from Denmark. It's a bit early here, but I really wanted to participate in this wonderful conference, and I'd like to give my gratitude to the Barenboim Institute for organizing this wonderful session. And I hope everyone can see my slides and can hear me clearly. If there's any problem throughout the presentation, just let me know. So again, my name is Dr. Juliet. I am a maritime education and training professional in Kenya. I teach at one of the leading maritime universities in Kenya called Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. My background is in marine engineering, but I also assist in teaching some nautical science programs. I am also a co-director of a marine research institute called Marine Tech Research Center Limited, and we mostly deal with decarbonization topics and alternative fuels that, like Dr. Ludfi had just talked about in her previous presentation. So my presentation today is about promoting gender equality and professional capability in maritime education and seafaring careers. So we shall look at how we can unlock the full potential of our maritime sector by ensuring gender equality as well as build professional capability for everyone. So we'll begin with the presentation. So today, my presentation is not too long, it's about 11 slides, but I hope you can understand the impact of how we can promote gender equality within the seafaring industry. And we'll first go through the state of gender in maritime today. Then we'll talk about why equality is important at this time and age. We'll also look at the barriers that women face, as well as the root causes of these barriers, as well as looking into transforming maritime education to promote gender equality, as well as the policy frameworks that will work or have already begun working, as well as a vision for the future for the topic of today. So we look at the state of gender in maritime today. So these numbers tell a stark story because out of 1.89 million seafarers, only 2% make up are composed of women. And for those 2% of women, a majority of them work in the catering as well as the hospitality roles, rather than seafaring roles in terms of being officers or being engineers. So we as an industry have ensured that half of our human capital is left on shore, and the half being, of course, the women. And we need to really analyze why this is happening and this current gap or state of affairs. So we'll also look at why equality within the maritime sector is crucial or important. So this is not just about social justice, it's about business as well as operational imperatives that are put in place. We currently have a global seafarer shortage. Therefore, we need to encourage more women to participate or to take part in being part of the huge global number of seafarers currently working on board. Therefore, we cannot afford to exclude this crucial part of the seafarer composition. So the evidence is clear that we really need to up the shortage of seafarers, and we have the pool of women who are ready to work on board. So we really have to focus on that. And the International Maritime Organization has made this a strategic priority through so many channels or strategies that have been implemented. So this is not really an afterthought, but it's really a problem that the IMO itself, being the leading a place of such strategies, is actively working in ensuring. So we'll also look at this slide, the barriers that women face and their root causes. So when we look at why so few women enter and remain within the seafaring sector, the barriers are multi-layered. It is not just one route or it's not just one cause. Each cause has its own precedent. So there are various structural issues. We have inadequate facilities, training facilities in the MET sector. There's also cultural barriers, which are deeply embedded stereotypes about who belongs or who should work at sea and who should not work at sea. There are also educational barriers. These are pipelines that do not reach the women, the young girls who want to pursue these courses, these programs within each MET. And as well, like I said, it's a systematic issue whereby once the female students have completed their MET training and they want to go and find jobs, they go through the recruitment centers, the manning agencies. There's a lot of issues that they face when they're trying to look for work on board vessels. So as a collective, we must address all these four issues or four barriers simultaneously, not just targeting one and ignoring the rest. So we look at the real world proof that change is possible, that there's some actions that are being currently implemented in order to promote gender equality within the seafaring sector. So for example, we have a few countries like the Philippines, we have Norway, we also have the African Union that is actively working or implementing initiatives that show that targeted policy that has funding as well as mentorship actually work to bring about this gender balance. So our key lesson is no single intervention is enough. We need to fight the root cause in a structured way, in a systematic way, in order to see some kind of positive results in ensuring gender equality within this sector. So we need things like scholarships for the girls who cannot easily access MET training. We also need safe facilities. You understand, programs like PSSR that really heavily focus on ensuring safety of seafarers. And women also have benefited from such initiatives from the IMO. There's also mentorship that needs to be done to our young ladies, to our young women who are interested in joining this workforce on how to, what to expect, how to conduct themselves, how to just represent the female balance, as well as legal frameworks that need to be implemented. So we have a lot of case studies that have been done and a lot of frameworks that have been suggested or implemented, and they say in promoting this kind of equality within the maritime sector. So first of all, education is the gateway to transforming this current situation from a deficit to, benefit to this industry. So if we want more women at sea, we must transform how our maritime education, how our maritime training looks, feels, and who it speaks to. So these 5 pillars are just not aspirational, they are achievable, and with political will, with political support, as well as institutional commitment, I believe they are highly, highly possible to bring about change. That includes the curriculum designs that are more gender sensitive, the scholarships that I discussed about in the previous slide, as well as the mentorship networks, the faculty diversity. For my case, I can also represent, like I can say in my university, there's still a lack of gender balance in terms of faculty, but we are working towards encouraging the younger generation, the younger women to pursue, the postgraduate studies in order to add more numbers to our side when it comes to generating this kind of diversity within the working area, within the MET sector, as well as safe learning spaces for our students. So all these kind of initiatives can really bring about a transformation within the MET. And then not just looking or focusing on the MET, we also need to consider the policy because they're all interconnected. So change really requires action at every level, from the IMO conventions, like I mentioned, the PSSR convention, to national laws that comply with human resource policies. So no single actor can do this alone. The most successful case studies or countries that have achieved this, or companies that have achieved this, are the ones that align all 3 levels simultaneously. So we need to bring about change in the international level from the IMO or any other international maritime bodies. We also need to work on the national level by improving or promoting gender quotas, advertising this kind of opportunities to high schools for females or for female high school students, as well as the industry level. Now, after we train our students, our female students, how are you going to absorb them into the workforce without all these kind of barriers during recruitment or during job searching? So we really need to work simultaneously in order to achieve the common goal that will promote gender equality through policy frameworks. So the capability building must be universal, not just for women, but for all seafarers. So when we create inclusive training environments, we raise standards for everyone. So the 3 pillars, that is the technical competencies, the leadership and command, as well as the well-being and retention, they all form the foundation of a future-ready maritime workforce. And in conclusion, I will close my presentation with a vision and a challenge. So the maritime world needs the talent, it needs the perspective, it needs the leadership of women, not just as an act of charity because, oh, you are underrepresented or privileged within this sector, but also as a strategic necessity. So definitely the ocean, the sea belongs to everyone. Therefore we should build the structures, we should pass the policies, as well as change the culture and the mindset that makes this true in practice, so not just in principle. So this is my presentation, and I really welcome questions at the end of the speaker session. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Very well done. Thank you very much, Dr. Juliet, for the valuable and inspiring presentations once again. We are reminded that professional capability is not only about technical skills or certificates, but also about opportunity, inclusion, confidence, and equal access to maritime careers. Now we continue to the final keynote speaker who will discuss future maritime technology and data-driven safety system. Our fourth keynote speaker is Captain Gökhan Shamlia, PhD from Liverpool John Moores University, United Kingdom.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Captain. The floor is yours.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Captain Gokhan? Hello, Captain? If you have technical issue, we can. Okay, okay. Now the screen is shared. Thank you very much, Captain. You can continue. Captain, please unmute your device.
Yeah, how about now?
Yeah. Okay, okay. We can hear you loud and clear. Proceed,
right.
Captain. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Gökhan Çamlıurt from the John Moores University from the Liverpool. Today, I will introduce my paper about the dynamic pilot boarding relocation under operational uncertainties. Maritime pilot transfer is one of the most safety critical maneuvers in the maritime navigation. This operation occurs while two vessels is moving and there is one unstable platform between these two vessels. And so that's why there are several occupational accidents for the maritime pilots. So I will try to play this video. I'm not sure if it's visible now, Captain Joe.
Yeah, it's not visible, Captain. Or you can skip it.
Okay, this is kind of a pilot boat is approaching to the mothership to exchange the maritime pilot. So it's showing shortly how the maritime pilot transfer is occurs. So the pilot transfer is one of the highest risks in maritime operations. As I described, two vessels moving. Pilot jumps from pilot ladder to the boat, and the weather always is changing. They are usually prone to open sea, and while this operation happens during the transfer, there is a it's an approach area, so there is a dense traffic environment, and there are some also is a constrained waters. There are lots of navigational aids and hazards around there, and there are some under keel clearance issues as well. So in operationally, there are additional constraints when these two vessels is meeting. So in case of ship crew perspective, there's a high workload during the port approaches, navigation in condensed traffic areas, and bridge team coordination and passage plan verification is coming out. Steering gear test must be done, engine test should be done, and pilot ladder preparation and deck operation should be done at the same time. And cargo operations and preparations should be done for any kind of vessels. Anchor preparation and minimum safe manning is one of the key factors here. While this much job is done, there are a certain number of the crew on board only. And especially the international labor organizations working, resting, and working hours are always has overpassed, never obeyed. Crew may safely access a forward deck in heavy weather while they are doing the cargo operations. In case of maritime pilot respective, irregular and unpredictable schedules, high number of boarding operations, fatigue due to standby periods and night operations, exposure to heavy weather during transfer, risk of falling during the pilot ladder transfer, poorly prepared and defective pilot ladders, continuous alertness despite irregular work cycles, responsibility for navigational guidance, multiple vessel boardings with one shift, physical strain in climbing pilot ladder repeatedly. During the transfer time, I will not repeat the same thing. Safe relative speed should be adjusted. Vessel should create safe lee side, and pilot boat maneuverability sometimes in several ports has very small and not capable for proper maneuvering in heavy weathers. Cross traffic, wave height can influence the boarding. Need clear visual detection of the pilot boat between the mothership and pilot boat. So one of the worst scenario during the pilot transfer is man overboard. In case of pilot fall overboard, normally there are no proper maneuvering in the literature. The ones which you are seeing in the screen are the ones for the open sea. So when we come back to our pilot boarding positions, it's used to be a single static point in the past. In recent application, as you can see, this is the small perspective from the Busan Newport, and the green zone is for the pilot boarding position, and the yellow polygon is for the pilot disembarkation. So despite this area is moved from a single point to a polygon, still it's a static position. So the research is start to idea to detect where this real pilot boarding operations are done, the embarkation and disembarkation positions. So initially we are trying to solve out when the blue vessel is the inbound vessel, the red one is the pilot boat, and first they need to meet somewhere randomly in the meeting as a distance. And the second one is we need to evaluate the traffic around these two vessels, where they're gonna meet. So the research question is, can AIS and environmental data explain where pilot boarding actually occurs and predict the safe pilot meeting distance under varying operational conditions? So it's from a random position to an evaluated safe area, which is that there is no traffic, it's protected by the weather and from the other vessels and navigational aids or navigational dangers. So study area is Busan Newport. This is one of the major container port, which is also the traffic is keep increasing every year. High vessel traffic density, complex approach routes, and frequent pilot operations. So at the initial stage, we plotted the real pilot exchange positions where they usually occurs. The ones you can see, the blue ones are the inbound one, and the orange one is outbound ones. As you can see clearly, this is not mostly occurred out of the described pilot positions. That means we need to make a dynamic pilot meeting position to prevent liability issues for the future exchanges. So for that purpose, we gathered the AIS trajectories, weather observations, and bathymetry data, ship the water depths and the tide information. and traffic interaction metrics. So for this model, we use the we gather AIS data, weather, bathymetric chart information, and traffic, and then we combine the machine learnings. Like one of them is random forest, another ridge, and the next step is the predicting the meeting distance, and the second one is locating the safe boarding location. So in case of model performance, the operational inbound one is 0.15%, and R squared is 94%. So this is for inbound vessel is quite high. The reason is the inbound vessels are proceeding to a bottleneck, so their heading line is always clear. But in case of outbound, we don't have the same predictions, since the outbound vessel has a freedom of sailing on the after the pilot disembarkation. Additional to pilot boat meeting position relocation, there is some the ship domain should be calculated during these interactions. So we need to calculate how much sea room we need during this pilot exchange, because this is not just a moment, it's kind of a period. It took around 1 minute or 2 minutes, is depending on the weather condition or operational restrictions. So here there's not much things to say, and these are the just seasonal effects, how it affects the pilot boarding relocation. And finally, we can say dynamic meeting point modeling supports the pilotage planning with its decision support, safer pilot transfers. So this is one of the final view of how this operation works. And as you can see, there is one random point at the embarkation polygon, and then second one is we implemented traffic. It's very slightly seen, there is a gray triangles here. If any traffic occurs, if the meeting position, then the algorithm moves this meeting position to the safest and closest area. In this panel C, you can see that. So as a conclusion, pilot meeting points need to be dynamic, and this dynamism means need to be including the environmental and traffic as well, and also the new ones is AIS enabled predictive modeling should be implemented. So in the future, real-time VTS advisory system can be implemented, and also not only just one port, we can include another ports as well, and also the system can be integrated with the weather forecasting. Everyone, my presentation is until here. I thank you for giving me a chance to present this paper.
Thank you very much, Dr. Captain Gokhan. Yeah, the presentation is actually aligned with, I think, a recent accident in Singapore Strait. Have you heard the news, Captain, that there are two capsized ship actually depart from eastern boarding ground Alpha, I think, on the eastern part of Singapore Strait, and then it's like T-bone with the power-driven vessel on the TSS. Well, anyway, it's very interesting, Captain Gokhan. We can see that also pilotage operation are very dynamic operational, because as we know, and also for the attendance participants to see, the pilot boarding ground is actually affixed on the chart. So Captain Gokhan proposed a dynamic pilot boarding ground. And also affected by traffic density and environmental conditions, vessel behavior, under keel clearance, and also human operational constraints. This is a strong example how predictive analytics through the use of AIS data and machine learning can support safer maritime operations, especially for pilot transfer or boarding ground, VTS, advisory systems, and decision-making under uncertainty. Thank you very much, Captain Gokhan. We will now continue with the discussion, and also a question and answer session. To all the speakers, if you may, you can turn on the camera so we can join the Q&A session. Yeah, okay. Dr. Lutfi, Dr. Juliet, Captain Gokhan, and Professor Jinki is on the room right now. Okay. So we will have question and answer session until 12 o'clock local time. Before we open the floor directly to the audience, so actually we already have several questions submitted before the session began. So I will read them briefly and direct them to the most relevant speakers. So first is for Professor Jinki Sor. Professor Jinki, are you on the room? Yeah. So the questions are from Dr. Nursyam from Barombong Maritime Polytechnic. Regarding GME and SME, is it important for seafarers to master general maritime English before learning specialized maritime English? This question is specifically addressed to Professor Jinki, considering his expertise in maritime English, maritime communication, and seafarer training. Professor, you may answer this question.
Thank you. Thank you really for the question and the kind attention. For GME and SME, to briefly further elaborate, the GME is really a common topics that includes whatever the topic that may be used on board settings. And SME is more of a specialized settings. But to directly jump into the conclusion that since even the IMO model course, it's a recommendation. However, they strongly suggest for every officers or engineers to be acquainted with the GME first, and then go to the SME. So in that sense, knowing GME to some extent is quite important. And availing this chance, I would like to shortly mention that a lot of people think that, for example, hello, hi, did you eat? How do you feel? These are also included in the scope of maritime English. That's what the IMO model course says. Whatever the phrases that can be used on board are included in maritime English. In that sense, learning GME is a fundamental and it's quite essential. I hope that addressed a little bit of your question. Thank you very much.
Sure, Professor Jinki. So I believe Dr. Nursyam will also receive the answers, since GME and SME is a very technical abbreviation in maritime English. Also, I will deliver next question for Captain Gokhan. So, Captain, there is a question from Siti Sadia from Brin. So the question is, what key factors should be considered when using innovative technology to build resilient maritime security? Please, Captain Gokhan, answer the question because it's addressed to you, and also, if time allows, Dr. Lutfi may continue on the answers. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for question, but can I get once more? It's about the security. I didn't get that part.
So the question, Captain?
Yeah, I didn't get the question.
Yeah. The question's coming from chat room. So key factors should be considered when using innovative technology to build resilient maritime safety and security. So I believe it related with the machine learning limitation and also over-reliance on the equipment itself, Captain.
Understand, but this pilot boarding position relocation has not much related with how can I say with some cybersecurity or another safety constraints. It's not gonna be published. How can I say for the publicly? It should be just a local version. Actually. If I see the question clearly, I would like to talk more, but I didn't actually get it. What's the connection with the part relocation about the question?
Okay, Roger that, Captain. So I will continue to Dr. Lutfi, if you may add to the answers. Dr. Lutfi, time is yours.
All right, thank you very much for the questions. Yeah, First of all, if we would like to create the technology, we have to take a look what the human needs. That's I think that's the important thing before we create a technology, because at the end, people will use the technology. If we create a technology that like that not acknowledge what people need, it will be not useful at all, because people will be stressful to use the technology because they are not familiar with the functions, and also about how to how to how to implement the technology in their working area. So first of all is we have to make the technology based on human needs, and then the second one is we have to also make the technology secure, because the current challenge that I also mentioned is also the cybersecurity.
Sure.
So so we have to create a secure technology, so nobody can breach to the technology that we have, because the maritime sectors, it is very important, and we have a lot of belongings and also passengers to transport. Therefore, we have to make all of the technology secure, both for the goods and both for the passengers. I think maybe those are two keys of the importance one to create the technology. I hope
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
answer the
Sure.
questions.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Lutfi and Captain Gokhan. So I believe it also relates with your PowerPoint previously that you mentioned about work as instructed, or WAI, and also WAD, work as described, because it's I mean, it's so subjective. So yeah. So for the next question from Thabit Omar Saloom, Netherlands Maritime University College, addressed to Dr. Juliet Wangwi. So the question is, what advice would you give to students and early career professionals who want to contribute to maritime innovation?
Thank you so much for the question. What advice could I give to my students, for example? Mine would go mostly on having a strong mental resilience. Like I mentioned, there are a few challenges and barriers that seafaring students may face during the maritime education and training, as well as during the recruitment, and even when they progress further in life into the career. So the most important thing is to have a strong mindset, to have a strong mentality to overcome, everyday challenges, everyday barriers, and to really practice positive thinking, positive mindset, because not everything is going to be smooth sailing. But as long as you have a mindset that tells you that tomorrow will be better, tomorrow will be good, I think things actually just turn out the way your mindset is. If it's a much more easier for you. So mine is mostly on now the human aspect, the human factor of it, to just develop a strong resilience, and you will be successful throughout the career, from the education level to finding the jobs and actually doing the jobs. So I would advise most of the cadets to embrace that kind of positive mindset.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Juliet, for the answers. So now we are going live questions through Zoom meeting. So we can see on the Zoom meetings right now, there's a lot of people raising their hands, interested to questions all of the speakers. So I hope you don't mind, Professor, Captain, and also Dr. Ludwig, Dr. Juliet. So yeah, I would begin with three questions first. So after that, we can share another one. So first, probably from a cadet, I see Jose Feraldo Simamura. Jose, if you may, you can open mic and then please deliver your question. Cadet Jose. Jose, you are still muted. Okay, if someone else ready, Rayhan, you can probably deliver your question, Rayhan. Okay, Jose, yeah. Jose or Rayhan, anyone, you can deliver your question.
Okay, yes, sir. Uh, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, sir, excuse me, ma'am, my senior, and my friends in the Zoom today. First of all, I would like to say that is a great honor and a valuable opportunity for me to be part of this Zoom session today. So, before I ask, let me introduce myself. My name is Jose Feraldo Sumomora, and I'm a cadet from Polytechnic Pelayaran Barumbung, Indonesia. So, I want to ask to Professor Jean Kisser. The first, I want to say thank you very much for the informative and insightful presentation. I'm so excited, sir, and I have gained valuable knowledge from your explanation. So the question is, as the maritime industry continues to evolve through digitalization, automation, and the transition toward greener shipping, I would like to ask what competencies will become most critical for future seafarers to remain relevant and competitive in the maritime industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cadet Jose. So the questions addressed to Professor Jinki Sor. What competencies will become most critical for future seafarers? Professor,
This
yeah,
one,
if you're ready.
yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your question, and I appreciate it. You took your courage to ask this question. Again, I appreciate it. For this one, I think I will explain what other experts have mentioned, and what I understand is the most core part is the autonomous vessel that will come in the future. No, I presented about maritime English. I presented, the people presented about different aspect, but the core part would be the autonomous vessel or the remote control and etc. And one of the core part that we identified either in IMO or either in other in the research perspective that IT knowledge and also with cybersecurity should be added. So there would be an existing knowledge required for seafarers, but other than that, the basic knowledge and understanding of an IT perspective is very much required. So, but people are evolving. For example, because those future technology that Korea and other country perhaps is adapting or changing laws for that technology. However, because the international standards and discussion changes every time, that what I can say is IT technology and those knowledges are important. However, technologies are evolving, situations are changing. So we have to take one step at a time to see what we really need. If I require further, I will explain further. But thank you very much for the question. That will be it.
Yeah, Professor, thank you very much. Jose, so you need to learn about technology, okay? So, yeah, I see Cadet Raihan Zodi Jalal. So you may deliver your question, Raihan. Please unmute it first.
Okay,
Rayhan? Yeah, okay.
thank you so much for the attention and the chance that you given to me. So my question is for Dr. Juliet Wangui Wamugi. So in your presentation, there are four barriers that women safers often to face. There are structural barriers, educational barriers, cultural barriers, and systemic barriers. But my question is, from all that four barriers, what do you think is like the most common and the most hard that women safers have to face? And if so, what do you think is the industry response to them? Of course, you've already mentioned the policy frameworks at industry level, but my question is too is do you think that policy is enough to prevent a young or a woman safeguards from experience the barriers again? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the question, Mr. Rehan. And yes, it's true. These kind of barriers are all existing currently to, I'd say, diminish, the role that we want to bring about gender equality within the maritime sector. But personally, I would say the most critical barrier has to be the cultural barrier because despite our current advancements, we are now, I think, in the 21st century, but the mindset that was there maybe in the 18th century about women and superstitions of having women on board, it's still ongoing, even if you ask, because it's a culture that has been passed down through those generations. So I would say if we manage to learn how to control or how to change the narrative in the within the cultural setting on women working on board, we can bring about a lot of changes. And one way of maybe changing this cultural mindset about women not working at sea or ships is to really just people, maritime education and training institutions can go to those specific companies, for example, and train them and make them aware to show them that women are also equally capable of working on board and bringing about, the economic benefits of adding to the current seafarer shortage. So that kind of policy framework or awareness programs that can be initiated from the international level down to the national and also down to the the local locality levels can really bring about that change because, for example, I'm from the African continent. I'm not aware about Asia, but I can also say the same that it's a really big problem having women working on board, ships within our regions because of that kind of mindset, patriarchal mindset. So once we have that kind of awareness within those kind of institutions, I believe we can bring about a lot of changes, shifting that narrative, from the local level to the international level. So I hope I managed to answer your question, Mr. Rehan. So thank you so much for the question. It's very important.
Thank you, Dr. Juliet. So, Rayhan, how about it, Rayhan? Okay,
Thank you so
so,
much.
okay. Okay, so for the next questions, I would like one of our lecturer, Muhammad Arifin. You may deliver your question, sir. Hello, Mr. Arifin. Okay, so I would like to give this opportunity to Mr. Suban. You may deliver your question. Mr. Suban, please unmute it. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Nadir?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay.
already accessible. Well, thank you so much for the time, and also I do appreciate that for all of the speaker who already present the topic today. It's such a so good opportunity for me for doing this international conference. So my question regarding to the first speaker, um, talking about maritime English, it means that we are talking about the English for specific purposes. And the principle of the English for specific purposes is about conduct the need analysis to make sure that the learner purposes in learning English, they can reach that. But unfortunately, when we are talking about the maritime English itself, it means that we are discussing standard marine communication phrases. So sometimes the need of the cadets cannot be aligned with the standard marine communication phrases. So it can be the one of the struggling as a lecturer in teaching English for maritime for the cadet itself, align with need analysis of the cadet need, and also the standard marine communication phrases. The second issues is about the lecturer's pedagogical competence. The lecturer are expected can be delivering the materials about the maritime English based on the student's need. So the lecturer have to think about what kind of suitable methodology and pedagogical strategies in addressing that one. But yeah, once again, the standard marine communication phrases give us a limited to delivering and to elaborate with the student's need. So my question is about how do we dealing that as the lecturers we can teach the students based on the need but still align with the standard marine communication phrases. I think that's all, Mr. Dr. Joe. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Suban. So actually the question is really simple actually. How do we deliver the perfect English for all the cadets through SMCP? Because there's a lot of constraint on the SMCP itself. So Professor Jinki, I think this question's addressed to you, Professor. You may answer it.
Yes, yes. I thank you so much, really. That was a very insightful question and very pinpointing the whole research. For that, the first question was yes, we need a student's need. We have to analyze the student's need first. And well, that's the whole caveat. That's why I brought a lot of international organizations and guidelines. And during the meeting I mentioned, I'm not saying that SMCP is really, really that important. We have to question whether SMCP should be the one that could cover the whole situations on board. And so what I did was, well, of course, other than students' need, I searched for previous researches, existing platforms, and international domestic guidelines and testing standards. That's basically what I did because I have to evaluate the current circumstances. And second point is really, I love that question. SMCP doesn't cover the whole thing. I don't think SMCP is a good form of the thing, but the reason I said is because there is no other comparable document symbolic symbolic value than SMCP. All together they approved it. If you could find any other documents, maybe there is in it. So the point is, I brought sentence transformer because of that. SMCP has a specific meaning, but students could totally speak in a different way. For example, I need a blanket. And well, somebody could say, I'm cold, I need something. In a structure perspective, the score is very low. However, in a sentence transform perspective, the meaning, so the meaning in perspective, the score would be high. So you pinpoint really the right one. Maybe the further research could cover that area. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you so much, Mr. Jin. I look forward to have a good collaboration for research for further. Thank you.
Sure. Sure, Mr. Suban. Sure. How about it, Professor Jinki?
Yeah,
So
Professor.
so
You,
yeah.
you may share your email on the chat box so we can reach each other after this.
Oh, certainly. I will do that. That's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor Jinki and Mr. Suban. So I would like to give the next three questions to cadets first. So there is this cadet Randy Ferdiansyah. Randy or Randy? Okay, Randy, please deliver your questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Um, I would like to address my question to Cap Gohan family. Good morning, Cap. My name is Hani Fedansyah, and I am a cadet from the Maritime Polytechnic of Borneo. First of all, I would like to express my sin sincere appreciation for your insightful and informative presentation. I truly enjoyed learning about your research and innovative approach you propose to enhance maritime safety and operational efficiency. In particular, I found your discussion on moving from static pilot boarding zones toward dynamic operational corridors using AES and environmental data very interesting, as is offer a more adaptive way to manage maritime traffic under changing conditions. I would like to ask a question regarding this concept. Your study propose moving from static pilot boarding zones toward dynamic operational corridors using AES and environmental data. How do you see this model being integrated into real-time PTS operations, especially when PTS operators need to make immediate decisions under changing traffic and weather conditions? Um, Maybe that's all from me. Thank you once again for your valuable presentation and for sharing your expertise with us. I look forward to hearing your thought and insight on this important topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this question, Randy. Yes, this is very critical question for my study. Actually, for the VTS level, it should be going one more step ahead. My study is based on the, like 1 year AIS historical data. It's not a live data. So the next step is build this one for the integration of the live data from the any port. Like for example, if you want to apply this one to Ulsan port, any other worldwide, any other bigger port or something like that. So the infrastructure should be prepared for making some sensors and live traffic sharing with the maritime pilot and the inbound vessel. Like it should be integrated. The tide information and weather information and all should be online first. And then it can give the VTS operator as an insight. And the next level of this study is now under progress, but it will be broadcasted. So once I appoint this point, it will be broadcasted to other vessels in the vicinity of the port approaches, and to, of course, to the VTS as well. So once these two vessels is appoint one meeting point, for example, not the random one, but the next one, which once they evaluated traffic and weather conditions, and once they agree one point, then this point will be broadcasted on the with the AIS data. So this is the next level. So I didn't mention this one yet. This is kind of one of the future one. So any vessel around this port approach will within, like, let's say 10 miles of the VTS area or port approach, they will be able to see that two vessels will be meeting at mentioned position, and there will be one heading lines will be visibles, and the other vessels should be avoiding to interact these interceptions. So this way the VTS will be benefiting from here. They will live with the live display, they will see where these vessels are heading and where they're gonna meet. So if they have additional comments, then maritime pilot and inbound vessel, then of course they can recommend them. I hope this will answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Captain. How about the answers, Randy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Captain Gokhan. So I see there is a female cadets here. Hello, Angita. Please, you may you may deliver the questions, Angita. Okay. Okay, you can unmute your device. Okay, I think there is a technical problem from Angita. How about another female cadets, Andira? Hello, Andira. Yeah, please unmute it first.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Before I ask, let me introduce myself. My name, Anira Nugrayu. I'm from class DP4 Nautica. How can driven technology help maritime professional make better decision when dealing with dynamic traffic, weather, and professional uncertainty?
Okay, Andira. Andira, Captain.
Yes, sir.
From what I heard is okay. The question is for Captain Gokhan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So Captain Gokhan, the question from Andira is how can data-driven technology help maritime professionals make better decisions when dealing with dynamic weather, traffic, and operational uncertainty?
Yes, sir.
Actually, this question is a little bit similar with the previous one. How VTS can benefit from this technology. Is the next level of this study is broadcast this meeting point, which I show you in my presentation, to make visible every vessel around the port approach. So it will be a live broadcasting when the vessel is approaching to a pilot transfer position. This is doesn't matter inbound or outbound vessel. So any vessel can make overlay on their axis for their meeting positions.
Okay, thank you very much,
I
Captain
hope this will
Andira.
answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Andira, Captain Gokhan already answered the question. So I will give to Fadel Muhammad. Cadet Fadel, please deliver your questions.
Okay, thank you so much for your opportunity. And of course, it is an honor for me to join this seminar and be given the opportunity to ask question of the distinguished people present here. And firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Fadil Muhammad from Diplomat Free Nautica, and I have a question for Dr. Lutfi Prativiwowo. And the question is, what are the most common human factor uses contributing to maritime accidents in Indonesia? Thank you.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you
Dr.
very
Lutfi.
much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Fadel, for the questions. That's a very important one because, yeah, we have to know from the Indonesian perspective what is the most common human factors occurred in the Indonesians accidents. So I can mention that for the Indonesians, lack of knowledge and also skills is one of the most common problems that we face for the maritime accidents here in Indonesia, besides communications and also for the lack of supervisions while doing the job. So that's what I would like to highlight, that it is very important for Indonesian seafarers to keep up the training after they also graduated from the maritime institutions, because as we know that the technology is always developed, so the seafarers will have also updated their skills and also knowledge to coming up with the new technology. And that's what yeah, the lack of Indonesian seafarers, they cannot come up, I think like they cannot I mean like coming up with the new technology, therefore some of the accidents occurred because of that skill of knowledge and also yeah, training. I hope
Yeah,
that's
thank you
answered the
very much.
questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Lutfi. So, Fadel, how about the answer from Dr. Lutfi?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss.
Okay, thank you very much for this session. So the next session I will give to lecturer who already raised their hands from the first time. Here there is a Mo Arifin. Mr. Arifin, do you read me? Mr. Arifin? Yeah, please deliver your question, sir.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for opportunity to have a question. My name, let me introduce myself first. My name is Arifin, and I'm one of lecturer of Polytech Barombong. So my question goes to Prof. Kinji Shore. How are you, Prof? I do have question to you.
Please.
All right.
Be
Say,
graceful.
how are you today, Prof? You look very young. I thought you were a college student, but you are a professor. High respect to you, sir.
Thank you very much. To be specific, it's still assistant professor.
Oh, okay.
Professor.
All right.
So
All right. I
very
got you.
much.
All right. Uh, uh, I- um, uh, let's go into the topic. Let me wear my glasses first. My question, Ardi, thank you for your presentation, Prof. It's very excellent. Thank you for share knowledge. So, I got my conclusion about your presentation. You are about introduced about standard maritime communication praise, right? Based maritime English learning and assessment system that integrated language assessment. So please correct me if I make a mistake. So the system is about that. Is kind of like an intelligent formative learning and assessment platform, right? Is it right, Prof?
It is right. It is
Right.
exactly.
Okay. So goes to my question here was, yeah, what makes the system your system different from the another platform system like Marlin test, Marlin English test, or other maritime English platform? What the different? So then another one is I see your data, even I'm not really understand clear, but uh, do know a little bit. Know a little bit. Is that your data communication error come from specific research or from official report? And then the last one, can can your system be integrated with the Maritime Academy learning and management system? Is that possible? Sorry, the last one. Your presentation like come from your research. Is that is already you make a article journal and has been published? And can you tell us your publisher so we can read more detail? Probably that's all, Professor. I'm sorry to bother you. Thank you. Thank you. Give back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arifin. Professor Jinki. So I think most of everybody here is very interested to you, Professor.
Maybe, thank you very much. Maybe my explanation wasn't that maybe clear. I wanted to deliver as much as possible, but somewhat I skipped a lot. And I thank you for the question because that was the important point as well. First, I believe, let me go with the clear one. The second one, the data that I used, the communication, the 80% of the accidents are involved in human error. That was from one of the documents in the IMO. And commonly, that's being quoted in other research as well. But right now, but even if it's not 80%, the most of the research indicate that human error occupies the most, major human cause of the accident. So among that, some research analyzed 50% of them are communication. That is from, if you look into it, perhaps you'll be able to find, some would say 20%, some would say 40%, some would say 50%. What I got from is one of the United States. They analyze United States Investigation Court. They analyzed 400 data, and they concluded around half of them, or 40% of them, are very much related to communication errors. So it's not only one research data, but I combined a little bit more. So I hope that answered number 2 question. And number 3 question, yes, I did publish it through a number of papers, but mostly Korean domestic ones. But even if it's Korean domestic ones, you'll be able to find some English documents. I published 2023, and also 2025, a number of it. And actually, I did my master's in 2019 for this one as well, but that one is in Korean. But the point is, yes, I do certainly, if you search for my name, perhaps you'll be able to find some of it. And I hope to elaborate further if the opportunity allows, either through me. First, yes. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the first one was traditional method. Basically, if I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but what I just did was, there's a ChatGPT, Gemini, as I mentioned, consists 2 parts. I just brought the encoder, so to adapt in the education settings. And this could be, I think, just valuable in terms of students. They always need a good feedback. That's what we wanted to do. I wanted to do. So yes, it has been established. I'm happy to share some of the, perhaps the link, but I kind of missed the first question, but thank you so much for the attention. I do. Thank you. Perhaps I can
Thank
elaborate if it's
you.
needed.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Jinki. So, the time is so limited, and look at that, everybody is very interesting. So the next question will be to Captain Gokhan. So from the chat room, Captain. So to Captain, this is from Mr. Haryanto from BRIN. To Captain, technology AIS application in dangerous sea, because AIS also used by pirates. I believe it's pirates. And how to protect it from piracy.
Frankly speaking, I didn't consider about the piracy because I was only enabling this study, not a study, this technology only locally at the port entrance only. I'm not sure how they can interact with the how can I say, the pilot can be related to approach the pilot taking vessel. I'm not sure if that port is that much unsafe. So is there any more specific, like what kind of danger is that like he's mentioning?
I believe he wanted to ask about the reliability of the AIS itself, since AIS is very jammable, especially like when we see the Hormuz Strait situations right now where GPS are jammed, AIS data also jammed. So I believe that question is on that
Frankly
direction, Captain.
speaking, I didn't consider about that piracy attacks yet. Like, this is kind of initial stage, but it's far beyond my ability to evaluate about the piracy intervention about to this technology.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Captain. So for today, the last question is will be delivered from Dr. Lucian. Dr. Lucian. Mr. Irwan and Mr. Nadir, I'm sorry because the time is so limited. So the last question will be delivered by Dr. Nursham.
Thank you very much, the moderator. Is my voice clear? Okay, thank you very much. I have two questions. The first question I'm going to address to Professor Sur, and the second question will be addressed to Captain Gohan. Okay, for the first questions, I'm interested in the assessment aspect of maritime communication, Prof. Considering that maritime communication involves multinational crews with different linguistic and cultural backgrounds, do you think the communication assessment should focus more on grammatical accuracy, semantic effectiveness, or the ability to achieve mutual understanding in real operational context? And let me deliver my question to Captain Gohan. Okay, Captain Gohan, in pilot transfer operations, communication between the vessel pilot station and VTS is critical. Do you think the effectiveness of a dynamic boarding point system also depends on the standardized maritime communication, such as standard marine communication phrases, to ensure that all parties share the same operational understanding? Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the question. And if I understand it correctly, if the competency or the system that we developed would be applicable in the real world setting, right? Maybe perhaps. Well, if that's the question, then let me briefly answer. We also have those platforms evaluated by 30 experts, and they gave quite a number of scores. And I think I can explain 4 out of 5 person, they say it's very, very important and useful, utility and the needful, and it's applicable in the real world settings. So what we did was we gathered data from the students and we evaluated how much time they have to spend on the platform to be able to qualify as a third officer. And to do that, we have to ask a lot of captains about, what is the proper score for this. So basically, if that's applicable, yes, we threw out those process and experts discussion and the data, we kind of evaluated how much time is needed for them to. But thank you so much. I think that's for the first question, Captain Gyokan, and I believe.
Good morning again. Yeah, I would like to answer it. Yeah, this is one of the main purpose of this my study is to reduce the conversation between these three parties actually. That's the reason I will be broadcasting this meeting position to visible everyone, because nowadays as you described, the conversation during the port approaches is quite dense, and people cannot understand each other, cannot reach each other by the VHF conversation. So that's one of the main reasons that lead me to make this study. I can say this one, like I need to remove this conversation. Only critical conversation should be done, exchange when we are approaching, other than pilot, this is vessel, something like that. And then this conversation doesn't end, like everybody tell their name on the conversation, but we have very short time to take pilot there. We have lots of jobs to do there. So we cannot just keep talking each other to exchange the ship names and any other details. So the maritime pilot's position relocation and broadcasting will solve this issue. So it will minimize the conversation between the parties. I hope this will answer your question.
Okay, Dr. Nusyam.
Yes, thank you very much, Captain Gohan and Professor Sir for your explanation. I believe that the communication is really crucial in the safety of navigation. So both your presentations today is related to each other. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nusyam. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached many excellent questions from the registration form, through chat room, and through live questions and answer session through raising their hands. But due to limited time, we may not be able to accommodate all questions individually. For questions that cannot be addressed directly today, you may send it through chat room in here. So yeah, we sincerely appreciate them as valuable input for further discussion and future academic collaboration. Distinguished speakers, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's session has shown us that maritime resilience is built through the integration of education, human factors, inclusivity, and technology. From today's discussion, we can take one important message. The future of the maritime sector depends on how well we prepare people for change. So maritime education must continue to evolve with digital transformation, future competency demands. At the same time, accident prevention and human factors analysis remain essential to help us understand why accidents happen and how professional behavior, training, and safety culture can be improved. We were also reminded that professional capability must be developed in a more inclusive way, where gender equality and equal opportunity become part of strengthening the maritime workforce. In addition, future maritime safety will increasingly be supported by intelligent systems such as AIS-based modeling, predictive analytics, and data-driven decision-making. Therefore, advanced technology alone will not be enough. The maritime sector needs resilient and inclusive and competent professionals in a complex maritime environment. Finally, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all distinguished speakers and also all participants, online and also offline. I also appreciate all parties involved, the leadership, lecturers, staff, cadets, fellow seafarers, and all supporting teams who have worked together to make this event possible. Thank you very much for your valuable contributions and active participation. See you again on the third ICAMI next year. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give it to Master of Ceremony.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe, as our moderator today, for expertly guiding today's keynote presentation and also panel discussion session. We would also like to express our sincere appreciation to our distinguished keynote speakers and all participants for their active engagement and valuable contributions throughout today's conference. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee of ICAMI 2026, we extend our deepest gratitude to our distinguished keynote speakers for the first Professor Jin Ki-seo from Korea Institute of Maritime and Fisheries Technology, Republic of Korea. The second one is dedicated to Ms. Lutfi Pratiwibowo, PhD, from BRIN, Indonesia. The third certificate will given to Dr. Juliet Wangwi Wamugi from JKUAT, Kenya. And the last for Captain Gohan Kamniyut, PhD, from Liverpool John Moores University. And thank you for sharing your expertise, experience, and valuable insight with us today. We would also like to express our sincere appreciation to the Ministry of Transportation of the Republic of Indonesia, Barombong Maritime Polytechnic, partnering institution, sponsors, collaborators, community members, technical support teams, and all stakeholders whose dedication and support have contributed to the success of ICAMI 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, with gratitude to the participation and contributions of all speakers, delegates, researchers, and guests, we hereby conclude the plenary session of the second International Conference on Advanced Maritime Interconnection, ICAMI 2026. May the knowledge, insight, and professional connection established today continue to inspire innovation and collaboration within the maritime community. Before leaving the plenary session, we would invite all the participants to join to the conference. We will continue the parallel presentation session commencing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Indonesia time. Participants are currently requested to join their assigned presentation rooms according to the conference schedule. Detailed Zoom assignments, Zoom links, and presentation schedules are available through the Conference Secretariat and Conference Information System. We kindly remind all presenters to ensure their presentations files are ready and to join their respective virtual rooms at least 15 minutes before the start of the session. Session chairs and technical assistants are requested to coordinate with presenters accordingly. On behalf of Barombong Maritime Polytechnic and the organizing committee of ICAMI 2026, thank you for your participation and support. We wish you a pleasant lunch break and a productive continuation of the conference. Stay safe, stay connected, and continue advancing maritime excellence. Thank you and good.